moda. Amen. In the name of Lord Jesus, we begin this morning Bible study by singing hymn 406。由圣人开始今天早上的查经，我们一起来唱诗403首。Before we begin, we're going to read our prayer and ask God to guide us. 我们开始之前，我们再一次来祷告，祈求是带领。In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, I speak. 奉主耶稣圣名说话。I have been assigned to study Jeremiah chapter 34 with you today. 今天我们继续来查考耶利米书的34章。We know that the mission of Jeremiah, the prophet, is to warn the people and to ask them to follow the ways of God. 所以耶利米先知他的主要的这个目的就是要来警告当时的百姓来去听从神的话。He has been given a very difficult task to carry out. 他其实神给了他一个非常困难、一个难做的、一件难成就的一件工作。That is to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. 其实就是要他来去就是把它除掉，把它要他来去发出、开毁坏、倾覆、建立跟栽种。So without any hesitation, Jeremiah took up the task. 耶利米他就是说没有犹豫的，他就把这个工作给拿起来。When he was carrying out the task, we find that he did face with great challenge. 他在做这项工作的时候，他面对很大的这个挑战。The will of God is such that the nations of Judah must surrender themselves to King Nebuchadnezzar. 所以神要耶利米告诉当时的王说，他们要就是说要投靠，就是投降在这个尼布加尼撒王的这个，就是让尼布加尼撒王来侵略他们。And that is the way out for them, or the way of escape. 这是唯一的一个我们出路。You find that the way of the Lord, in a way, is a bit mysterious. 看起来神的这个做法有点就是说特别很奇妙。And yet, this is the only way out for the chosen people of God. 但是只是当时就是神的百姓是唯一的一个出路。We can look at some verses. We first turn to chapter 29. 我们先来看这个29章。Chapter 29, we read verse 14. 29章我们可以看这个14节。Chapter 29, verse 14. 29章的14节。I will be found by you, says the Lord, and I will bring you back from your captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you, says the Lord, and I will bring you to the place from which I caused you to be carried away captive. 神说我必对你们行见，我也必使你们被掳的人归回，将你们从各国中和我所赶你们到各处召集的来，就将你们带回使我带回使你们被掳掠离开的地方，这是神说的。This is the instruction of the Lord given to His chosen people. 这是神给他的百姓这个指示。And that the only way of escape is to go to Babylon and surrender to the Babylonians. 看起来他们唯一的出路就是向这个巴比伦王来去投降。And I want to read also chapter 30, verse 3. 我们看30章的第3节。Chapter 30, verse 3. 30章的第3节。For behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, that I will bring back from captivity my people Israel and Judah, says the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. 神说日子将到，我要使我的百姓以色列和犹大被掳的人归回我，也要使他们回到我所赐给他们列祖之地，他们就得这地为业，这是神说的。You find that God has thought beyond the captivity. In fact, He here already mentioned about the restoration. 所以神已经所提到的东西已经超乎说被掳的事情，已经讲到这个要回归的事情。Here we also see the kindness and the mercy of God towards His people. 这也是看到神对他百姓所显的这种慈爱。Sometimes we question why did God allow them to go through such an ordeal? 为什么神要让他们经过这样的一种苦难呢？Because they lived in sin and it was impossible for them to extricate themselves. 因为他们 come out from sin. 他们是活在罪中没有办法自己从这个罪中去出来。So you find that this is the only way for the Lord to cause them to come out from their sinful ways. 所以只有唯一这样的方法，神使他们从他们的罪中能够出来。So that in time of pain and suffering, they would begin to think about, what they have done and to reconcile themselves to God. 就是在他们痛苦受苦当中他们能够想到说他们得罪神了，能够来去和神来去和好。I think this is also our experience in our Christian journey of faith. 这是我们在我们信仰生活当中也是我们的体验。At times we do err or do make mistakes against God. 有时候我们来去犯罪，来去得罪神。Time and again, God sends His workers to warn us. 很多时候神派他的工人来去警告我们。Or through His messages, we have been warned of our evil ways. 借着神的讯息来提醒我们所犯的这种我们所做的这种罪恶的事情。And yet you find that we are not able to turn completely from our sin. 但是我们不能够完全的从这个罪中来去出来。In a way, we are very deeply rooted in sin. 所以一方面来说，我们就是说在罪中已经扎根了，生根了。That's the reason why God allow us to encounter, pain and suffering and trials in life. 所以神让我们在生活当中来去受苦来去受到这个磨练。The intention is a kind one, is with a good intention. 它的是出于一个好意，是要为了我们好。That is to help us to draw away from sin. 就使到我们能够远离这个罪恶。So you find that this message of asking the people to surrender to Babylon has been repeated in the book of Jeremiah. 这在耶利米书当中耶利米不断的告诉当时的百姓要来去向这个巴比伦来去投降。And promise them that he would cause the captives of Judah to return. 告诉他们说这些被掳的犹太人他们会回归。We can look at also chapter 33. 我们可以看这个33章。Chapter 33, we read verse 7. 我们看第7节。Chapter 33, verse 7. 33章的第7节。And I will cause the captives of Judah and the captives of Israel to return, and will rebuild those places as at the first. 我也要使犹大被掳的和以色列被掳的归回，并建立他们和起初一样。Verse 8. 第8节。I will cleanse them from all their iniquities by which they have sinned against me, And I will pardon all their iniquities by which they have sinned and by which they have transgressed against me. 我要除尽他们一切的罪，就是像我所犯的罪，要赦免他们一切，就是干犯我、违背我的罪。You find that God wanted to bring them back as well. 所以这里神呢要把他们带回来。Verse 8 explain the reason. 所以第8节告诉我们这个理由。The entire process of being exiled. 所以整个被掳的过程is to help them cleanse themselves. 就使到他们来去洁净自己。So that they can truly return to God. 使到他们真正的能够回到神这里来。You know that a man in sin cannot be truly reconciled to God. 一个在罪中的人不能够完全与神来去和好。That's why the person's sin must first be purged. 所以这个人的罪首先要来去蒙赦得赦免。Only in this way then man and God's relationship can be reconnected. 这样的话，人跟神之间的这种关系才能够再一次的建立起来。So this is the task of Jeremiah, telling the people what they must do. 这就是耶利米先知他的目的告诉百姓要做的。So when we come to chapter 34, 所以当我们来到34章的时候，here it specifically mentioned about King Zedekiah. 所以这里特别提到这个西西家王。And he was almost the last king before the complete downfall of the nation of Judah. 他可以说是犹大王的就是最后一个王。We can look at some of the background information concerning this king. 我们可以看一下这个王的这些背景。We turn to Second Kings. 我们看列王记下。Second Kings we read chapter 24. 列王记下的这个24章。Judging from verse 17, you'll find that actually he is the uncle of Jehoiachin. 其实他是这个约雅斤的这个妻子。And his original name is called Mattaniah. 他的原名叫做马探雅。And this king of Babylon changed his name to Zedekiah. 就是巴比伦王把他名字改成叫做西底家。Verse 18 says, Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And he also did evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. 18节、19节，西底家登基的时候21岁，在耶路撒冷做王11年。他的母亲名叫哈木他，是利拿人耶利米的女儿。19节，西底家行神眼中看为恶的事，是照约雅斤一切所行的。Here it talks about he did evil in the sight of the Lord. 所以这里说他行神眼中看为恶的事。And because of the continuous evil performed by the kings, and finally God cast the entire nation from his presence. 因为他继续的将来去犯罪，来去得罪神，神就将这些百姓从他的眼前把他赶出去。And eventually we find that this Zedekiah also rebelled against the king of Babylon. 那最终呢，这个西底家王也就是说来反叛这个巴比伦王。And that in itself is against the instruction of the Lord. 他这样的一种做法已经是就违背了神的这个指示。So when we read this chapter 34 of Jeremiah, 所以当我们读到这个耶利米书的34章的时候，there are two main points mentioned in this chapter. 所以在这一章当中也提到两个重点。First is to warn Zedekiah not to sin against God. 第一要来去警告这个西底家王不要再犯罪来去得罪神。And God actually told him what would happen to him and his children. 也告诉他他本身还有他的儿女们会发生什么事。The second point is about asking them to release the slave. 第二呢，就是告诉他们要来去释放这些奴仆。Because according to the law of Moses, 因为根据摩西的律法，after a slave has served for 6 years, 就是说一个奴仆一个仆人他在那里服侍了6年之后，so in the 7th year he must be released. 第7年的时候，他们应该可以把他来去释放。You find that this is something that he tried to do. 我们发觉到说他想做这件事情。Initially he obeyed, and later on he backed down, and he like resummon the slave to be in bondage again. 一开始的时候他是能够做得到，那不过后呢，他就把他们这些奴仆啊，好像说把他们抓回来，再来去。So obviously God was very angry. 这样的话，当然神是非常的愤怒。So God said to him that he will make the city of Judah a desolation. 所以神就跟他说，神要把这个犹大地成为荒凉之地。Now we first look at the first part, yes, from verse 1 to verse 7. 我们可以看这个第1节到第7节。And here the Lord said to Jeremiah. 这里神对耶利米这样说。And allow the king and the inhabitants to understand that it was the Lord who fought against Jerusalem. 所以要让当时的百姓跟这个王明白说是神来去，就是说来去击打这个耶路撒冷。It's like God agreed that there's besiegement on the city of Jerusalem. 就是说就是神让这个耶路撒冷被人来去攻打。We can see this in verse 1. 我们可以从第1节能够看得到。We know that Jerusalem or Judah was a chosen nation of God. 耶路撒冷或者犹大地是神所拣选的这些百姓。By right, the nation was under the protection of God. 其实这些百姓应该是蒙神的这个眷顾保守。Now the question is, why did God allow this Jerusalem to be attacked? 问题是说，为什么神能够愿意让这耶路撒冷受到攻击？In a way, it's like God lifted away His protection for the nation. 看起来神把他的保护从他们当中拿掉。Because of the sin of the people. 当然是因为百姓们的犯罪。Sometimes when we look at the church. 所以说当我们在看教会的时候。So when you see that the church is being attacked by falsehood from all directions. 所以当教会被就是被这些假道从不同的方向来去攻击的时候，方面来去攻击的时候。Why does God allow this thing to happen? 为什么神愿意就是能让这些事情来去发生呢？ There must be a reason. 一定有它的原因的。And it's something that we have to think about and to pray about it. 这是我们要来去思考，我们要来去祷告的。Maybe there are certain ways in our life that are not right in the eyes of God. 可能在我们生活当中我们一些做法不合乎神的旨意。That's why God allowed this thing to happen to warn us. 所以神让这些事情来去发生，来去警告我们。So and here in verse 2 it says that to Zedekiah and the people that God has given the city into the hand of the king of Babylon. 第2节这里说神说就是说神已经把这个巴比伦这城交付这个巴比伦王的手。And this king of Babylon shall burn it with fire. 而且他要用火来去焚烧。Meaning that no one can escape from his hand. 也就是说没有人能够从他的手中来去逃脱。Since this is like the ordinance from God, an order from God, then obviously this event will come to pass. 因为这是神的指示这件事情一定会成就。So in verse 4, God said to Zedekiah. 所以第4节神对这个西底家王这样说。And said to him that he shall not die by the sword. 所以跟他说他不会被刀剑来去杀死。True enough, if you search the last part of this Second King. 如果我们看这个列王记下的记载的话，he did not die by the sword. 他没有被这个刀剑来去杀死。He was taken captive to Babylon. 其实他是被抓拿被掳到这个巴比伦去。So from here we can see the kind intention of God. 所以从这里我们看到神的这个慈爱的一面。Even though he was such a wicked king. 虽然这个王是非常的邪恶。And yet that he did not die by the sword. 但是他却没有死在这个刀剑之下。I want to look at the Second King. 我们再看这个列王记下。Alright, now we read chapter 25. 你看25章。Here it talks about the fall and captivity of Judah. 这里说到这个就是耶路撒冷沦陷， 被掳的事情。
We read verse 7.
我们可以看这个第7节
，chapter 25, verse 7.
25章的第7节。
Then they killed the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, put out the eyes of Zedekiah, bound him with bronze fetters, and took him to Babylon.
在西底家眼前杀了他的众子，并且挖了西底家的眼睛，用铜锁链锁着，带到巴比伦去。
All his children were killed
所以他的孩子们全都被杀了。
right before his eyes.
在他的眼前被杀了。
And then, his eyes were put out.
就是说他们把他的眼睛给挖出来。
And then took him to Babylon with bronze fetters.
是用铜锁链把他带到锁起来。
So he did not die by the sword.
所以他没有死在这个刀剑之下。
And true enough, he died in Babylon.
其实他是在巴比伦的那个地方死去。
But obviously, you find that he died with his eyes being taken out.
当然他是他的眼睛被挖出来之后，他死去。
Now we come back to chapter 34.
我们看回这个34章。
chapter 34.
34章。
I want to read verse 7.
我们看这个第7节。
verse 7.
第7节。
When the king of Babylon's army fought against Jerusalem and all the city of Judah that were left, against Lachish and Azekah, for only this 45 cities remained of the city of Judah.
那时巴比伦王的军队正攻打耶路撒冷，又攻打犹大所剩下的城邑，就是拉结和亚西加。原来犹大的坚固城只剩下这2座。
It seemed that all the other cities were destroyed.
看起来所有的这些城邑都已经被灭了。
Only like 2 cities are left behind.
看起来只有2个城是留下来的。
Obviously, there is a very important indication here.
这里有一个很重要的一个意思在里面。
You know that for Judah, God did not entirely destroy his people.
那神没有完全的把他的百姓来去剿灭。
He always kept for himself a remnant.
他常常就是说把这些人有一些遗种把它留下来。
This has been the intention of God.
这就是神的这个意思。
Because God could not go against his own promise.
因为神不能够就是说反了自己的这个他的这个应许。
That's why he kept a remnant for himself.
所以他有一些人他就遗留下来。
So had it not been for the mercy of God, you find that the entire nation of Judah could have been long destroyed.
如果不是神的这个慈爱怜悯的，这个犹大全地都真的完全的被剿灭。
So God has saved for himself a remnant.
所以神把一些人遗留下来。
Now from verse 8 just to verse 22.
所以从第8节到22节。
Here it talks about the treatment of their slaves.
所以这里讲到这些怎么来去对待他们的这些奴仆。
I want you to first read verse 8.
我们看这个第8节。
This is the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord after King Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people who were at Jerusalem to proclaim liberty to them.
西底家与耶路撒的众民立约，要向他们宣告自由。
So it's like, he agreed that all the slaves must be set free.
所以就好像说同意说把这些奴婢全部来去让他们自由。
He even said that to his own people that, this releasing of the slave must be done.
他也这样宣告说这些奴婢必须要让他们来去自由。
Now if you look at verse 10 and here it says that they agreed initially.
第10节看起来他们一开始的时候是答应这样来去做。
Now you read verse 11.
当然我们看第11节。
But afterward they changed their minds and made the male and female slave return, whom they had set free, and brought them into subjection as male and female slaves.
后来却又反悔了，叫所任去自由的仆人卑女回来，勉强他们来为父卑。
So initially they agreed to set the slave free.
一开始能够让他们来去就是说自由。
Which is in accordance to the law of Moses.
根据摩西的律法。
We turn to Exodus.
我们看这个出埃及记。
We read chapter 21.
出埃及记的这个21章。
Exodus chapter 21.
出埃及记的21章。
We read verse 2.
我们看这个第二节
21 verse 2.
21章的第二节
If you buy the Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and in the 7th he shall go out free and pay nothing.
你若买希伯来人做奴仆，他必服侍你6年，第7年也可以自由白白地出去。
This is like the law governing servants.
所以这就是这种条例来就是说怎么来去对待这些奴隶的。
You find that after they have came out of the land of Egypt, but not long.
但是他们离开埃及地不久之后，
And this law was given to them.
所以这个律法，这个条例就给了他们。
There was a reason behind.
这是有个理由的。
To remind that there were slaves before.
就是要告诉他们提醒他们说，他们以前他们也是这个奴婢。
It was God who had set them free.
是神来让他们得自由的。
So every 7 years when they set free the slaves.
所以每7年当他们把这些奴仆把他让他们得自由之后
，it's like they were reminded of how God has saved them.
其实也是在提醒他们自己说神怎么来去拯救他们，让他们
Since
得
God
自
has
由。
been very kind to them,
既然神对他们是非常的慈爱的
therefore they must also be very kind to others.
所以他也必须要对别人来这样显这个慈爱。
Just like today, we have been set free from the bondage of sin.
就好像今天我们从这个罪中能够得自由。
It's by the mighty hand of the Lord that we have been set free.
是这个神的大能的手来使到我们能够得到这个自由。
So the setting free tells us about God's great love towards us.
这个得自由就告诉我们神是在我们身上所彰显的大爱。
So today, likewise, we must show this same love and kindness towards others.
所以今天我们也一样要显这个爱这个恩慈给别人。
So each time when we thought about the saving grace of God,
所以每当我们想到神的这个救赎的大恩
that should remind us of how God has saved us as well.
所以也提醒我们神是怎么样来去救我们的。
Later on, we find that this law is also incorporated in the book of Deuteronomy.
之后我们发觉到这个条例也在申命记那里来去再一次的提到。
We can turn to chapter 15.
我们看申命记的第15章。
Deuteronomy chapter 15.
申命记的第15章。
We read verse 12.
你看这个12节。
Deuteronomy chapter 15 verse 12.
15章的12节。
If your brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you and serve you 6 years, then in the 7th year you shall let him go free from you.
你弟兄中若有一个希伯来男子或希伯来女子被卖给你服侍你6年，到第7年就任他自由出去。
So clearly, the law of Moses states that a slave must be set free in the 7th year.
所以摩西的这个条例当中很清楚的告诉我们说，到了第7年这些奴婢一定要能够得自由。
So from the book of Jeremiah chapter 34,
所以从耶利米书的34章
you see that the king and the people actually broke this covenant of God.
所以这个王跟那百姓就是破了这个条例。
And the Lord has said through the mouth of Jeremiah to them that these people were no different from their fathers.
所以神就借着耶利米来告诉他们说他们跟他们的就是他们的祖先是没有什么分别的。
So from the very beginning, you find that their forefathers had sinned against God by not allowing the slaves to be set free.
所以他们的祖先也是这样，不让这些奴婢来去得自由。
So they oppressed the poor.
他们欺压这些穷苦的人。
That's why God became very angry with them.
所以神对他们非常的愤怒。
Here there is a point that we need to consider a bit more.
所以这里我们还有一点我们要来去思考的。
You know that they initially agreed to set the slaves free.
因为一开始的时候，他们是说答应说把这些奴婢来让他们得自由。
In fact, they actually did it. Yeah?
其实他们一开始就是这样做了。
But verse 11 says afterward they changed their mind.
但是11节告诉我们说他们后来就后悔了。
You know, they knew what was good.
其实他们知道什么是好的，
They knew what the law requires them to do.
他们知道说这个法律要他们这个律法要他们做些什么，
They tried to do it, but they weren't able to do it for long.
他们能够这样做，但是他们不能够就是说保持太久，持续下去，
So later on they sinned against God.
那之后他们再一次来犯罪得罪神，
So what does that tell us about?
所以这里告诉我们什么呢？
You know, sometimes just like Paul says in the book of Romans,
就像保罗在罗马书这样告诉我们，
he knows what is good, but he was not able to do it.
他知道什么是好的，什么是善的，但是他不能够来去做，
It's like there is a kind of pulling force within him to go away from God.
在他的内心里面呢，就好像有一股力量把他拉离开，就是离开神把他拉去离开神，
So that he is not able to do the will of the Father.
直到他不能够行出天父的旨意。
So according to Paul,
根据保罗的这个教导，
it is sin who has done that, who worked in him to go against God.
就是罪在他里面来去使他能与神来去敌对。
I think this is also our personal experience of time.
这有时候也是我们这个个人的一种体验。
So when the heart is not completely cleansed,
所以发觉到当我们的心不完全的来去得到洁净之后，
you find that to keep the word of God, it becomes a great challenge.
你发觉到在要守神的话、神的道的时候，是一个很大的挑战。
We may be able to do it only for a short while, and then we back to our old self again.
可能我们只能够维持持续一段时间，之后呢又倒回这个旧人。
Because the sin within had not been removed altogether.
因为那个罪在我们里面还没有完全的来去除掉。
That's why the only way forward is to come before God and ask God to touch our hearts completely.
所以唯一的方法就是来到神的面前呢，求神完全的把罪从我们内心当中把它除掉。
Only then in this way then we can keep the word of God without any difficulty.
这样的话我们才能够没有困难的来去持守神的话。
Obviously, the resummoning of the slave actually angered God a lot.
所以他们把这些奴仆再一次的就是勉强的把他们的叫回来，就是强留回来使到神来去愤怒。
So God has decided to send them a sword, a pestilence, and famine.
所以神就让刀剑这饥荒这些瘟疫来到他们这里。
We can read chapter 34 verse 17.
我们可以看这个17节。
Chapter 34 verse 17.
34章的17节。
verse 17.
17节。
Therefore thus says the Lord, you have not obeyed me in proclaiming liberty, everyone to his brother and everyone to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim liberty to you, says the Lord, to the sword, to pestilence, and to famine, and I will deliver you to trouble among all the kingdoms of the earth.
所以神如此说，你们没有听从我个人向弟兄邻舍宣告自由，看我向你们宣告一样自由，就是使你们自由于刀剑饥荒瘟疫之下，并且使你们在天下万国中抛来抛去，这是神说的。
God is going to send them sword, pestilence, and famine.
所以神就让他们有这个刀剑饥荒和瘟疫。
Because they have transgressed against the covenants of the Lord.
因为他们已经触犯了神的这个律例典章。
So when we study the minor prophets,
所以当我们读这些小先知书的时候，
after they have returned from the exile,
所以当他们回归之后，
one of the things that remember is that they have been warned not to oppress others.
所以其中一个被提到的就是他们不可以向别人来去施这个欺压。
We turn to the book of Zechariah.
我们看这个撒迦利亚书。
We turn to Zechariah.
撒迦利亚书。
We read chapter 7.
撒迦利亚书的第7章。
Zechariah chapter 7.
撒迦利亚书的第7章。
We read verse 8 and verse 10.
我们看第8节还有第10节。
Chapter 7 verse 8 to 10.
那我们看第7章的第8节到第10节。
Here the prophet told them why they were in captivity in the past.
所以这里这先知告诉他们他们之前以前为什么会被掳呢
？If you read verse 11, it's clear because they refused to heed.
11节其实很清楚，将告诉我们他们却不听从
So what did Zechariah say to them about?
那这个撒迦利亚到底告诉他们什么呢
？We read verse 9.
我们看第9节。
Thus says the Lord of hosts, execute true justice, show mercy and compassion, everyone to his brother.
所以万机之神说如此说，要按自己判断，个人以慈爱怜悯弟兄。
Verse 10.
第10节。
Do not oppress the widow or the fatherless, the aliens or the poor. Let none of you plant evil in his heart against his brother.
不可欺压寡妇、孤儿、寄居的和贫穷人，谁都不可以谋害弟兄。
So Zechariah reminded what their forefathers had done.
所以撒迦利亚在提到他们的列祖所做的事情。
And to tell them why they were taken captive in the first place.
也告诉他们为什么他们会被掳。
So the same wrong must not be repeated.
同样的这个错误呢，不要来去重犯。
So otherwise God would allow them to be punished again.
不然的话，神又再让他们来去受到这个惩罚。
We can also read Zechariah chapter 8.
我们可以看这个撒迦利亚书的第8章。
Zechariah chapter 8, we read verse 17.
撒迦利亚书的第8章，我们看这个17节。
Again, they are reminded they are not to think evil in their hearts against their neighbors.
所以在这里再一次的告诉他们，在心里面不要来去谋害他们的邻舍。
Meaning that they must show kindness and love to their neighbors.
简单来说，就是要他们对他们的邻舍来去显这个慈爱恩慈。
Follow the ways of the Lord to set the slaves free in the 7 years.
照着神的这个条例，在第7年的时候，让这些奴仆来去得自由。
So we turn back to Jeremiah chapter 34.
我们看回这个耶利米书的34章。
I want you to read verse 22.
我们看这个22节。
Verse 22.
22节。
Chapter 34, verse 22.
34章的22节。
Behold, I will command, says the Lord, and cause them to return to this city. They will fight against it and take it and burn it with fire, and I will make the city of Judah a desolation without inhabitants.
神说，我必吩咐他们回到这城，攻打这城，将城攻取，用火焚烧。我也要使犹大的城邑变为荒场，无人居住。
You find that this warning is not issued here only, is in fact other part of Jeremiah.
其实这个
in the book of Jeremiah.
这个警告不只是在这个34章这里看到，而且在别的这些章节当中，我们也能够看得到。
We can read Jeremiah chapter 39.
我们可以看这个39章，耶利米书的39章。
Here it talks about the actual fall of Jerusalem.
这里提到记载耶路撒冷的沦落。
We read verse 4.
你看这个第4节。
So it was when Zedekiah the king of Judah and all the men of war saw them, that they fled and went out of the city by night by way of the king's garden, by the gate between the two walls, and he went out by way of the plain.
犹大王西底家一切兵丁看见他们，就在夜间从靠近王园两城中的门出城逃跑往亚拉拔逃去。
Verse 5, But the Chaldean army pursued them and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho, and when they had captured him, they brought him up to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and Reba in the land of Hamath, where he pronounced judgment on him.
加勒底的军队追赶他们，在耶利哥的平原追上西底家，将他拿住，带到哈马地的利比拉巴比伦王尼布加尼撒那里，尼布加尼撒就审判他。
So he was captured.
所以他被抓拿。
Now, when you read the book of Psalms,
所以当我们读这个诗篇的时候
there are at least 2 Psalms that talk about the destruction of the temple.
其实诗篇里面最少有2篇提到这个圣殿被毁的事情。
The destruction was complete.
所以说这个圣殿是完全的被毁灭。
Fulfilling what the Lord has said.
已经成就了神所说的话。
We can read Psalms chapter 74.
我们可以看这个诗篇的74篇。
Psalms chapter 74.
诗篇的74篇
If we read verse 4 onwards,
我们看这个第4节之后
your enemies roll in the midst of your meeting place. They set up their banners for sign. They seem like men who lift up axes among the thick trees. And now they break down his carved work all at once with axes and hammers. They've set fire to your sanctuary. They've defiled the dwelling place of your name to the ground. They said in their heart, let us destroy them altogether. They have burned up all the meeting places of God in the land.
你们的敌人在你会中吼叫，他们坚立了自己的旗为记号，他们好像人扬起斧子，砍伐林中的树，圣所一切雕刻的，他们现在用斧子、锤子打坏了。他们用火焚烧你的圣殿，亵渎你名的基所，拆毁打到地。他们心里说：我们要进行毁灭，他们就在天地把神的会所都烧毁了。
Here it talks about a destruction, complete destruction.
所以这里讲到圣殿完全的被毁灭。
So the word of God came to pass.
所以神的话就实现了。
If you read chapter 79,
如果我们看这个诗篇的79篇
it talks about how the people were killed.
这里甚至讲到当时的百姓是怎么被杀害。
We read verse 1.
我们看这个第1节。
O God, the nation have come into your inheritance, the holy temple. They have defiled. They have laid Jerusalem in heaps. The dead body of your servant they have given as food for the birds of the heavens, the flesh of your saints to the beasts of the earth. Their blood they have shed like water all around Jerusalem, and there was no one to bury them, who have become a reproach to our neighbors and scorn and derision to those who are around us.
神啊，外邦人进入你的产业，因为你的圣所使耶路撒冷变成荒堆，把你仆人的尸首交与天空的飞鸟为食，把你证明的肉交与地上的野兽，在耶路撒冷周围流他们的血，死死无人埋葬。我们成为邻国的羞辱，成为我们视为人鄙笑的讽刺。
So here is those who remain in Jerusalem that were all slaughtered.
所以那些留在耶路撒冷的时候，耶路撒冷的可以说就完全的就是说被杀害。
This is what Jeremiah said to them.
这是耶路撒冷就是耶利米对他们这样说的。
The only way of escape is to go to Babylon.
唯一的一个出路就是去巴比伦。
So what can we learn from here?
所以从这里我们能够学习到什么呢
？The word of God is absolute.
神的话是不改变的。
The word of God is not given to change.
神的话是绝对的。
So the way forward for us is to obey.
所以我们唯一的办法呢，就是来去遵从。
We must believe that the word of God, is like our standard and is our life.
所以神的话是我们的生活上的这个标准。
So if we fail to obey the word of God,
如果我们不能够来去遵守神的话
or fail to uphold the truth,
然后呢持守神的这个真理
then obviously the judgment of God will come upon us.
最终呢神的这个审判就会临到我们的身上。
So we hope that God will help us to change ourselves.
所以求神来帮助我们来改变我们自己。
So that we are given the strength and power to follow the ways of God.
使到我们有这个能力这个力量来去遵照神的指示来去做。
So briefly, these are some of the messages that we can get from the chapter.
这是34章里面所能够得到的一些信息。
Let's move on to pray.
我们一起对下祷告。
In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Now it's lunch.